Hi, this is Colin Hung, editor at Healthcare IT Today. I'm coming to you today from Toronto, and I'm just about to interview Carol McNerney, who is Chief Marketing Officer at Information Builders. And we're going to talk about their recent rebrand. And Carol, right off the bat, let me just ask this. We just talked about this rebrand, and you're saying it's not actually a rebrand. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about that.
Sure, no problem, Colin. Thank you. And thanks for this opportunity to talk about Information Builders. I've been here now 6 months. It's been an exciting time to be here. And like I said, I don't really think of it as a rebrand per se, but more of a refresh of our brand because our brand's been around 45 years and we're very well known in certain industries and sectors and probably known as, some people call us Information Builders, some people have called us IBI. And we thought this was a good opportunity for us to think about the future and make sure that people understand we really are a data and analytics firm from a technology perspective. So we thought it was a good time to refresh the brand and modernize it.
Gotcha. So along with it, it sounds like you changed the messaging subtly or changed your positioning as a company. Can you dive a little bit deeper into that?
Sure. So we absolutely changed the messaging and the positioning. So as we thought about, we took some time with the new, like I said, it was a founder-led company for 43 years, and Frank Vella took over as our CEO just a little bit over 2 years ago. And he came in and, like I said, thought about this idea of a transformation and modernizing. And we thought about our vision and our mission. So our vision is really having a world where every organization can easily harness the power of data to build better insights, ultimately to make better decisions. And so that was really important for us to make sure that we understood holistically as a firm, as we were changing, what are we really driving towards? And our mission was to prepare organizations for the future. We want everyone to be able to handle any scenario that comes up, reinvent themselves, and they need to do that by turning them into, we're playing off our own words, information builders. So we want them to understand the data, be able to analyze it, get the insights to make those better decisions.
Carol, I was wondering if you can take me back to that first meeting or that first, when did this first start? When did this journey towards this refresh brand start? Was it when you first started or did it come in a little bit afterwards?
You know, it actually started before I arrived. So Frank had come in in 2017, and I didn't arrive until January of 2020. So when he came in, he came in as the COO, and he took over as the CEO about a year and a half later. And I think that's when he really started to say it's time for people to understand us better and change the perception. Because he saw the value, what we would call the secret sauce of the firm, was our ability, our differentiation was our ability to get to sources of data and formats of data that are not easy to access. And we do that natively as opposed to having to use APIs. So again, that's our point of differentiation. And I think that's when Frank said, you know what, I think we need to really change our message and focus more on data and not be so lopsided to the business intelligence side.
So it sounds like it was sort of a top, it came from right from the top to say, hey, there might be an opportunity or a good thing to do to reposition and remessage the company, as opposed to marketing coming forward and say, hey, it's time we need to refresh this.
Yes, absolutely. It definitely came more from a CEO strategic level. And he had done some research, worked with some firms to understand the customers, because that's the most important thing is how do the customers perceive us? And what was our vision and what were we thinking we wanted to be? And where was the disconnect? So you always look for that gap. And then you say, okay, how do we close that gap? And one way to do that is go out and reposition ourselves and tweak the messaging. It's not a complete, we still are very strong in the analytics and the visualization and the BI space, but it was really leaning in towards that data because we think a lot of our customers went down a journey where they thought, okay, we need to look at all of our data and make sure it's clean. And with big data and data lakes and data warehouses, those can be massive projects and over multiple years and millions of dollars. And people got a little frustrated and said, look, I just need to be able to present the data to my management team and make some decisions. So I think they quickly pivoted to this visualization, and it looked like beautiful charts. And we're trying to get everyone to step back and say, wait a second, we've got to really make sure we're analyzing all the data so that we make the best decisions. So that's where we're really focusing our message and position.
Was there any resistance to doing this refresh? There was some that were just like, no, 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 why mess with a good thing?
I think change is always hard for anybody, both internally from our employee base, who some people have been around 20, 30 years, and they said, we've got a good thing, why would you change it? And some of it is probably not being privy to what was happening in the marketplace. And some was from customers, the fear of, wait a minute, this is the information builders I've always known and loved, why would you change? And I think it was having that market knowledge and understanding the way the industry was changing, that once you explained that and put it in perspective, people understood, okay, as long as we're not going to throw away our legacy and our heritage, which is not what we wanted to do, but just build on it. And like I said, that's why I call it a refresh. So even if you look at our logo, you'll see the new logo has the IBI, and it's a nod to data. You'll see the ones and zeros when you look at the logo, but you also see embedded into that IBI is information builders, the name of the company. And I think, again, that's a nod to it's embedded. And a lot of what we do is embed our software into applications and processes for our customers and our customers' customers. So the logo really kind of tells a story, which I really love. And at first people thought, oh, is this a transitional logo because you have information builders and IBI? And I think it's really going to stick and be solid because it's a nod to our heritage of 45 years. And that's nothing for us to be ashamed of. We did very well and have created a nice, strong foundation, a data and analytics foundation. And we have a great long-term customer base. But we also want to make sure that they know we're thinking about the future, the data, the technology, automated analytics, machine learning, all that data science. So it's a nice journey to take them on, that we're thinking about the future.
Can you walk me through maybe the logo process? Because that's always interesting, right? It's very visual. Obviously, it's very near and dear to people's hearts. How did you go about choosing or arriving at this new logo?
Well, we spent some time thinking about what was the message we wanted to get across. And like I said, this idea of data was very important to us, and we felt it might have taken a little bit of a backseat. So we wanted to bring that to the forefront. And I'll be honest, some of our initial thoughts were, let's just do IBI by itself. It looks really cool, modern, fresh, techy, and everyone will think, wow, this isn't your grandfather's information builders anymore. But there was that, let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. There is some foundational stuff that we had done. So we worked with a design firm and told them that story, and they came back with multiple iterations. And once we saw the information builders wording embedded into IBI, everyone really sort of fell in love with it. And it's also a little tricky if you do a true rebrand and rename your company. Sometimes people don't make that leap. So in some ways, it was a nice, at first I thought, is this going to be a transition? But now I'm thinking this really works as a logo.
Nice. So was it love at first sight on the logo, or did it have to be further iterated?
I think the first iteration was just the IBI itself, and that was love at first sight for everybody. Even the people who've been here a long time. They just said, this is so cool, it looks good, I can envision this on a website, on a portal. When you think of some of the major customers that we have, we're ubiquitous, but we're not always known. Sure. And so they thought, this is so cool, it's very techy, it's small, it could go in the upper corner of a website and almost be like an ingredient brand. But I think as people sort of said, well, wait, what about all the people who call us information builders? Will they know this is us? They'll know that this is the new, this is the old information builders. So I think as we started to iterate, they sort of fell in love with this next concept.
Let me ask you a couple of logistics questions, if you don't mind. How long did this refresh take? When was sort of, in terms of months or weeks, how long from the time you decided you wanted to do it to the time you rolled it out?
Well, I think I'd say it'd be fair to say Frank and the executive team that was here before me, I would say they were probably starting to look at this in September or October of 2019.
Okay.
I came on board in January of 2020, and I wanted to have an event or a moment to really bring this out, because sometimes the story might not be that exciting if they think this is just a refresh. But because we were changing the positioning and the messaging, we have an annual summit event where we have our customers, over 750 customers come every year. And we thought this was a great opportunity to launch the brand then. So I would say we were probably ready, between September and March, April. So I'd say it was probably a 6-month journey, and then we waited till June to have a great event to announce.
That's amazing. That's quite a change. I mean, it's a large organization. To do that in 6 months is pretty quick. Were there any sort of big hiccups in there of things that you sort of uncovered that's like, oh yeah, I totally need to change that too? Or was it pretty smooth throughout those 6 months?
Colin, I don't think it's ever smooth, right?
That was a loaded question. It is a loaded
Yes,
question.
yes. So I'm going to be very honest. One of the biggest things for me when I came in, you think, okay, wow, I've got to learn a new industry, a new company, structure, culture. And one of the things I said right away was our website. We have to revamp our entire website. It's a new story. So that was a big undertaking, and so impressed that the team was able to turn on a dime. So not only did this team of marketing, and really the entire team, product management, product marketing, have to redo the website and all the messaging and positioning, redo the brand or the logo, redo the website. And so they really, oh, and then the other thing was the event. This event for 27 years was done in person in Florida, for the most part, mostly in Florida.
Right.
And that was the plan. It was supposed to be the first week of June in Florida. And now I had to get this entire organization to pivot and do a virtual event. So a lot going on, super impressed that we were able to get it all done. Obviously we know behind the scenes what wasn't exactly the way we wanted, but I think for the most part, I know from anecdotal stories, our customers were very impressed and really happy with the change.
Was there any thought? I mean, first of all, I've been to that event and it's amazing. The summit is, I always have a great time and learn so much from the customers that I meet there. But given what had happened in March, was there a thought given to, hey, maybe we should hold off on this whole refresh, or did it actually spur you to make it even bigger because it was just going to be such a great news story?
Yeah, I think it did spur us to make it bigger and take advantage of the opportunity, because for the most part, the vast majority of customers who came to that event were from the U.S. because it was based in Florida. So here was an opportunity not just to broaden the customer base that we went to from a global perspective, and even the West Coast time, but also go after a prospect base, so the people who didn't know about us. So we really focused our keynote, that our 20-minute address, where you talk about the company and the change in the brand and all of our new product innovation, that was opened up to the world. So we had over 3,500 people come to that keynote address, which was fantastic. But the customer event, the heart and soul of that is people going to see the different product managers and engineers and get hands-on experience. So we really tried to recreate that as much as possible from a virtual event.
So let me ask you for some advice to share.
Sure.
Let's start with the negative, and then we'll go to the positive. Given what you've gone through, given the crazy 6 months it's been, is there anything that you kind of look back and go, yeah, we could have done that a little bit better, or you'd do it maybe slightly differently?
I would say from the website. I wish I had a little bit more time with the website to develop it a little further. So we were realists and we put it into phases. So I would have loved to have a fully baked, really solid website. I felt that I don't want to say we did the bare minimum, we did more than that, but we got the phase 1 complete, and now we're buckling down on phase 2 and phase 3. But I also knew how much change can an organization take at one point, and so I needed to really get focused so that we could do everything that we were doing. We scoped it so we could do all of that well. maybe not the best. And so that's what I would look back and say, I wish the website, especially when you change everything, not just the message and the position, but also the look and feel. So all new imagery and we actually moved off of one content management system onto another one. Training the team. So it was a lot to undertake. So that, I just wish we had a little more time.
Wow, you changed CMSs along with changing the visuals and the messaging. You just did the whole revamp in one shot and one as well, right?
Oh, and in the middle of that, I also said to Frank, I think I want to change our PR agency because I want a high-tech PR agency that can really work with us. So 6 weeks before Summit, I changed out our PR firm, which they've been phenomenal and really helped us figure out how to amplify in this digital world between social media and what we were doing. So really an impressive undertaking for the team.
And as you look back, Carol, is there anything that you're just very, very proud of in terms of it just went so smoothly or went so well?
Yes. One of the things I have to say, besides being nervous about getting the website ready for the date and translating it into several languages, was the way the entire team, when I look at the product managers and product marketers and engineers that run those sessions and customer support and customer success, they all had to present online. A very different experience. When you're in an audience and you're feeding off the energy, or you look around and you see people get what you're saying or don't get what you're saying, and you can pivot and change. When you have to sit in front of a computer looking at a camera and present for 30 to 45 minutes, I was super impressed of how well everyone did, including our customers. We usually have about 25 customers put together customer presentations of how they use our technology. It was phenomenal how people were able to do that.
And final question from me, what one piece of advice would you give to a peer or somebody who's working at a company who's kind of thinking about this right now, about doing a refresh or is considering it? What piece of advice would you give them?
Do it. Absolutely do it, and do it with tons of energy. Get everyone excited and tell them you've got to set the vision and tell them what's going to happen. And I would just say, absolutely, don't be afraid. There's that fear that can hold you back. It was such a great opportunity, almost like the perfect storm of everything coming together to make it so much more exciting. So I would say do it, but plan really well and find good partners, good PR agency, a good content management system, a good, for the website, a good partner to help you go virtual. Find people who've done this before and leverage the heck out of them, because they can really help you on that journey. No one can do anything by themselves. And get your team motivated and excited.
Awesome. Carol, well, congratulations on the refresh. It's incredible that was done in just 6 months, and good luck to you as you do your phase 2 and 3 of your website.
Great. Thank you so much, Colin. Thanks again for the time. This was fun.
Thank you. This is Colin Hung from Healthcare IT Today. Thanks for joining the program.